What's up, YouTube? Yes, this channel is predominantly for creatives, but there's so many other awesome ad jobs out there that you just might not be aware of. By the end of this video, if you still want to be a creative, then it's a great way to see who you're going to be working with on the day-to-day. And if you just have no idea what you want to do in advertising, hopefully it'll help you choose. So without further ado, 1 advertising career aptitude test. So pretty often I get a message that says, wow, like until this channel, I had no idea that art direction was a career path, that it existed. And it made me think that there's so many other advertising careers that people just probably aren't aware of that might be perfect for them. So I wanted to take a second, make this video to hopefully help a lot of people decide what kind of fits you and your personality traits. So I basically polled a bunch of coworkers and asked them what traits make them good at their job. So if any of these personality or work traits pertain to who you are, then one of these careers might just be what you're looking for. All right, so if you're creative, you're good at problem solving, you're ambitious to continually grow and continue learning, you have a true sense of curiosity and exploration, you like art, and you have humility and a very tough skin, then being an art director or a graphic designer just might be what you're looking for. Now watch my video on the differences between a graphic designer and an art director because the path long term looks very different. But basically, the qualities are essentially the same. In these roles, you will concept and ideate, execute graphic design work, illustrate, create logos, layouts, typography, and you'll dabble in other little skills like animation and video. All right, next, ask yourself the following. Are you detail-oriented? Can you retain a positive attitude? Do you see yourself as pretty diplomatic, and can you adjust? If you answered yes to these, you might just have the chops to be an account service. In this job, you'll manage expectations, timelines, and act as the liaison between the creative department and the client. You'll act as a constant resource for the team and build strong relationships both internally and with that client. Basically, you'll have to keep both your team and your client happy. Oh, and you will be on the phone and email constantly, so get those communication skills ready. All right, to be good at this next job, you need extreme patience. You have to be very detailed. You should have some pretty excellent time management skills, and you could have a sense of humor too, that doesn't hurt. If that sounds like you, then a project manager just might be your jam. You'll basically oversee and keep up with projects through their entire life cycle at the agency. You'll communicate with different departments so that it's completed on time, on budget, and according to client specifications. All right, for this next position, ask yourself the following. Are you actually good at multitasking? And though it shows up in many of these careers, detail-oriented is kind of always a must. Also, would you be one of those people that wants to split your time where you're a little bit inside of the office and a little bit outside of it? Well, that job's a content producer. From negotiating usage rights and scheduling, to casting talent and scouting out photo shoot locations, you're in charge of making sure things run smoothly so that the creative can become tangible. All right, if you're analytical, organized, good with numbers, a freaking beast at Excel, you just might find yourself as a financial analyst. Most have backgrounds in business, finance, and accounting. All right, so financial analyst essentially compiles information into a coherent analysis to predict outcomes and make business decisions. They also take part in reviewing revenue and look for discrepancies in reporting. All right, do you like to write? Do you like to tell stories? Do you sometimes use big words like irreverence? Another quality you need, by the way. Are you a perfectionist? Well, if you are those things, then you might be a copywriter. A copywriter is a storyteller. They craft language to make a customer feel something and essentially buy the product. That means rejecting cliches, taking risks, and chasing intuition. You will also think very conceptually, taking abstract benefits and compelling metaphors and boiling them down to a simple yet impactful idea. And lastly, you're the bullshit detector. Nobody has a better nose for insincere advertising than you. Really examine your word choice and what is actually being said. If you don't sniff out that bullshit message, your audience will. Okay, next, are you awesome with computers? And I mean like really good at computers. Like more than just telling your grandparents to restart their computer if something's wrong with it. A technical analyst might give you your fix. You should be able to fix most day-to-day computer issues while also maintaining the agency's network and back-end service. I mean, you're essentially the person that everyone calls on when they're in a really bad mood, but you have the potential to turn their entire day around. Alright, if you like art, you're precise as hell, you take the time to help others, and you have a strong sense of self-care, you might find that you're well equipped to be a production artist. Your job would essentially entail quality control over art director files. This includes rebuilding files correctly, making sure that everything adheres to brand guidelines, and making sure that everything is absolutely perfect and ready to print. The studio artist is the last person to touch the work before it leaves the agency, so it's gotta be good to go with no mistakes. If you are interested, dive deeper into the production rules and nuances when it comes to color profiles, alignment, and bleeds and trim and all that kind of stuff. Last two we're gonna do a little bit differently because my coworkers had such awesome answers that I'm pretty much gonna read it relatively verbatim. Alright, so this next job is for a production manager. In this next position, you provide technical guidance, build very good relationships with vendors that can get things done on time and on budget, create production schedules, and dabble a little bit in accounting. To be good at this, you need the following things. You need to be creative, being able to flex both sides of your brain. From producing some crazy things like parade floats or neon signs, to trade shows and retail showrooms, you've got to make a lot of different things a reality. You have to be self-confident. Production is not for Production can get blamed for blown schedules, shipping delays to even hurricanes, and failed mechanics due to manufacturer flaws. You gotta stay tough. Be flexible. You have to have the ability to do a 180 in a moment's notice. Changes are essentially made up until the last minute, and you just gotta stay cool and stay the course. And lastly, you have to be cooperative, as you'll work with many departments, lots of different personalities, and you'll have to be diplomatic and be a true team player. Okay, and last but definitely not least are our rockstar strategic planners. In this career, you have to determine exactly what the client is actually looking for and make sure that it aligns to strategy. You create strategic approaches that influence the creative and help the client understand why that creative is smart. From writing creative briefs to analyzing data or conducting focus groups, your job is to help guide the team in the right direction. You gotta dive deep into the target audience and understand how they think, feel, and how they ultimately buy something. The skills you need to be good at it: relentless curiosity. You have to dig beyond surface level information to find true insights. Opinionated. You have to ask the right questions that spark different points of view. Creative. You are not just data junkies, you work in ideas. Somebody reached out to me recently and asked how they can be creative without designing or writing. And to that viewer, here's your answer. And lastly, you have to be empathetic. It's all about empathy. Planners are the voice of the consumer, and that requires being able to walk in their shoes. And that is a solid 10 jobs in the field of advertising. There are many, many more, so if one didn't jump out and smack you in the face, keep on exploring. I hope this brought some understanding of what professions are out there and which ones could potentially be right for you. If you enjoyed the vid, throw me a comment, a like, or one of those highly coveted subscribes. Appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one.